Hey, how's it going everyone? Welcome to another video. Today I'll be comparing the Chinese HGUC Nightingale released in October 2024 with the official Bandai high-grade Universal Century Nightingale released in July 2021. We probably heard about this Chinese Nightingale, but it is officially known as the Red Soul Nighthawk Spec 2. Sometimes they refer to Solomon as well. And this is the Bandai high-grade Nightingale. You can see that the colors are a bit different than the original because this is a custom painted one. Red Soul Nighthawk Spec 2, it's more like they took the coolest parts of Sotheby and HGUC Nightingale to make this beast. Before I start the video, I would like to add on that I got these two on Facebook secondhand, so I did not build these, so I cannot comment much about the build. There are some parts that appear to be more loose, so I don't know if this is how they were at first, or I just don't know what the previous owner did with them, but they came in really good shape. As you can see, the Red Soul Nightingale Spec 2, the Chinese version, is slightly taller. Actually, in fact, it is a lot taller than the Bandai's Nightingale. You can see that in the lower body, there are more parts, more machinery, whereas the Bandai version is more smooth. You can see how different the legs are. More colors on the middle part. They still kept like these white areas the same. So here, the Nighthawk, you can see that there are more details. And the Bandai one is just more smooth. It do contain the same functions as like the beam motor. But you can see that the Bandai one is longer. And here's a closer look at the two legs. Here's a bottom look of the Bandai version. There's quite a lot of the thrusters going on. And whereas the Chinese one is more gray parts. And here's a stand. Both of them have a stand to support the back. So for the Bandai one, the stand is actually foldable. And the Nighthawk one has a very cool thrusters, whereas the Bandai one is more plain. Here's a sound difference. And side skirt. You can hear the Chinese Nighthawk one is more classic-y sound. And there's some difference on how they design the wing units. Chinese one is all yellow and the Bandai one's all black. There's this really cool tube. The Chinese one also sort of has. In here, the funnels. The Chinese one is smaller. Well, I like the wings of the Chinese one better because the mushroom with the Bandai one keeps falling. And there's a huge ball joint, whereas the Bandai one, the movement's quite limited. And as for the giant tubes, the Bandai one is more plain compared to the Chinese one. I like the Chinese one better. It's more thick. And there are some thrusters in the back as well. So we took a look at the wings. As mentioned, there's a ball joint and the Chinese one and not on the Bandai one. I love this tube thing. It was painted on the Bandai one. The Bandai one looks more covered and there's some white like cloth structure, whereas the Chinese one's more mechanic. Okay, now we take a look at the wings. As you can see, the Nighthawk Chinese one is more detailed. The Bandai one's more refined. The Chinese one has more pieces, and there are a lot of moving pieces in the Chinese one. The thrusters on the Bandai one can sort of move, only the top and bottom one. You can move more. The side one's a little bit, but the Chinese Nighthawk one, you can move all of them like sideways, which is quite interesting. I don't know that word you would use this in battle, but alright. In total, there are 10 thrusters on the Chinese one, whereas the Bandai one has 9 thrusters. Here's a side view of the Bandai one. Here's the Chinese one. They kept the original thrusters in as well. You can see 3 thrusters on the shoulders. And the Bandai one, the chest part can open. and is more pointier and sticks out more, whereas the chest part on the Chinese one is like sasabi, and you cannot move the chest part. And yes, you can see the height difference. And the shoulder, it's a bit different as well. You can see from the side-by-side comparison. The Nightingale Bandai one's more hollow. And you see the arm, it's basically the same length. Use another side-by-side from a different angle. And the head, the Bandai one's a bit longer than the Chinese one. And they have these gray holes as added detail, whereas the Chinese one does not. I thought this is really cool. The Bandai one is red on the thin, Chinese one's black here. You can see clearly now. In summary, I would say the articulation on the Bandai one's better than the Chinese one, but I think for me the Chinese one has better rotation on the waist compared to the Bandai one. I don't know, the Bandai one feels like some parts are gonna fall off for me. Maybe it's a me thing. Here are the size comparisons of other Master Grade kits. We got the Master Grade for Sasabi and New Gundam, High Grade She Gundam, Tuition Anjus, Unicorn, Master Grade, and some High Grades, Master Grade and Zilata. I'm surprised they all fit in the display box, I'm very proud. There's also the real grade High New Gundam on the side, which I'll take up in a bit to compare. Here's the Gundam-based Master Grade HGUC 2.0 mechanical core plating. And here's a shield comparison. The Chinese one is massive. And here's the High New Gundam in the middle. I'll take some of those weapons to do a size comparison. And here it is with the shields on the Nightingales. It's harder to put this shield on the Chinese one, I don't know. I think I'm doing it wrong. And here's the rifle comparison. This is the Chinese one. And now this is the Bandai one. The one with the hand is the Chinese one because I couldn't take it out. The Bandai one is really cool because it has a stand on the front. It's more like a sniper kind of feel. I was surprised the rifles are different. And here are the beam sabers. The blue one is real grade Chinese. The green one is the Chinese one, whereas the yellow one is the Nightingale Bandai's. I would say the Chinese beam saber color is wrong because green is actually for Sasabi. Here are the stickers. The stickers on the Chinese one looks kind of dull, but they look really good on the kit. And for the Bandai one, there are 2 sticker sheets and 1 decal. The decal one is actually not from the kit. Let me show you the decal sheet for the Nightingale, which I threw away. This is actually the decal sheet for the Chinese one. This is I used it all. Sorry, I threw away the whole thing. Here's one of the decals on the shield. I did a bad job. So for Nightingale, it only has 2 sticker sheets. I don't like the stickers. This is the original one, which I have not used. And they've shown this one. The previous owner bought this somewhere. Turns out it looks better. Here are the extra parts for the Bandai one, extra hands, and a lot of beam parts. And this is interesting because the Chinese one does not have this tomahawk axe thing. Only the Bandai one has it. This is the extra parts for the Chinese one. More beam sabers, hands, and there is a really cool base part. But I never use it. I don't think anyone will use it. It's too heavy. And here are a whole bunch of extra parts from the runners. It's for the inner frame mainly. Probably won't use it ever. The beam sabers look quite similar, except for the color. All the 4 beam sabers for the Chinese one's the same. It's a rectangular input. However, the Bandai one has a circular input. So circular is for the beam saber on the hand, and the flat rectangular one is for the skirt holder. I think the reason why the Chinese one is green because it was following the Sasabi's one. Moving on to the extra hand parts right now on the Nightingales. Both of them have a closed fist on both hands. And here are the other extra hands. So I put the Chinese gun hand on the gun because it's hard to take off. I broke the right hand beam holder on the Chinese one as well. And here's left hand on both the Chinese and Bandai one. It's quite similar except for the tip. And the Chinese left hand is a gun holder, whereas the Bandai one gives us a free hand, open hand. Moving on to the menu comparisons. The Chinese one's very plain, it's black and white. Except for the last page. The last page is colored. Probably same sort because it's actually added instruction because they forgot to mention it. They actually forgot to mention a few things too. They didn't mention about how to make the base and some of the gun parts, I think. I forgot. And here's the Nightingale. You can see more colors. There's also illustrations, photos in the middle with colors. More illustrations on the back, whereas the Chinese one has 0, except on the building instructions. So here's a size comparison with the high grade Char Gundam. I only have the Nighthawk box because the Bandai went in a come with a box. So I'll show you how it is inside with all the runners. So the Nighthawk actually has around 40-ish runners, whereas the Bandai one has only 20. So clearly, the Chinese Nighthawk one has way more parts. Our heart is around 700 parts, whereas the Bandai one only has 200 parts. And you see it's a very, very plain and simple box, and with a Chinese sticker. So here's a conclusion and a side-by-side view of both the Nightingales. So regarding the Chinese one, I heard that there's a lot of rashes and allergy problems with this kit, but I think these are all rumors because I personally do not have a problem, and neither does the previous owner. I asked him and he was like, he's fine, nothing happened, I'm fine, we're all fine. I wouldn't say 100% fake news, but I would say it depends. If you have sensitive skin, if you're very anxious about it, just wear gloves. And also, if you're asking for which one is cheaper, right now I would say the Bandai one's cheaper. As of the upload time of this video, the Chinese one was going for around $30 to $50 at first when it first came out, but now it's going, I saw on eBay someone is selling it for 230 USD, which is crazy. Originally, the Nighthawk Chinese one is around 80 USD, whereas the Bandai one's around 70. And right now the Bandai one, the retail price is probably also around 80 because depending on when you're watching, it is getting released this year again, but the Chinese one we're not very sure. So the Chinese one I would say is more rare as of now. But for me, I got both of these in a very different price. I got the Chinese one for I think only 30 USD because it's secondhand and the guy just really needed money. And whereas the Nightingale Bandai one, I got it for around 60, 70 USD because it is also a custom paint job as well. So I guess it was more expensive. But here are some side-to-side info in comparison I'll put on the screen. These infos are from ChatGPT. So feel free to pause the video and check it out. I won't comment on the build difficulty. So I don't know how the inner frame looks like because I haven't taken the Chinese one apart. Personally, for me, I would actually prefer the Chinese one. I know it's a bootleg and we shouldn't support the fake ones. I would say this is more like a artistic purchase. The money I paid was actually going to the previous owner and not onto the Chinese manufacturers. And that's all my thoughts and opinions on the Bandai Nightingale and the Chinese Nighthawk. Hope this video was helpful for your decision between the two kits. And if you have any more questions and comments, please feel free to leave them down in the comment section below. And as always, thanks for watching, see you in the next one, and bye.